Ladies, welcome to the Feminine Mystery. Today I'm back for the third part of my series, The Wealthy Men of, and we're going to be talking all about the wealthy men of the USA today. Now, I understand that there are going to be some topics in this video that might be a little bit controversial. Specifically, I'm going to be bringing up politicians in this video. If this is something that is a bit of a sore spot for you or is going to be something that causes a reaction that you're just not in the mood for, I would recommend that you skip this video and maybe look for something else on my channel. But for those of you who are ready to be open-minded, neutral, and focus on the issue at hand, this video is for you. I also just want to address at the start of this video that I understand that America, we're not in the best state right now as a country. A lot of things are very divided from, social topics to income. We have a huge split between, the wealthiest people in this country and everybody else in this country. And that can lead us to kind of feel as though this is not the case, but I just want to stop and pause and take a second to remind everyone here that America, the United States of America, is literally the richest country on the face of the earth. This is the wealthiest country that has ever existed on the planet. We have more billionaires here in the United States than anywhere else on the planet. So if you are really looking for opportunity, look no further than right here in the United States. If you are privileged enough to be somebody who is from here, and don't let the little bit of negativity that may be in your immediate circumstances cloud you to the abundance of opportunity that is to be found here in the United States. Now, to get started, this video is going to be a little bit different than the others. Instead of talking about things in terms of specific areas that you can go, what I really want to highlight here is the fact that the United States is a country with a huge landmass and completely open borders. So people, regardless of where they do business, can choose to live anywhere, especially in this more digital age where a lot of things can be run remotely and travel is more accessible than ever, particularly in the United States. So don't think that you have to go to this location or that location in order to find somebody who is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is that you desire. Look for the opportunities that are available close to you. We're going to start talking about professions, right? The things that people are doing to make them money and the kind of person that they might be most attracted to. Now, like I said, please proceed with an open mind, open heart, receptive energy, and let's get into it. Now, of course, we have to start with the Silicon Valley tech millionaires and billionaires. Now, there are some very famous faces here like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, but altogether, Silicon Valley has been a huge revolution in our society and in the world. And the entire concept of innovation in the United States is a long history of disruptive technologies that goes all the way back to 1800s, to the steel era, to the invention of barbed wire. There are all kinds of technological innovations that have made people very wealthy over time, even back in the times of an Andrew Carnegie. So this is just another iteration of that here today in our present society. And as much as we have all of these famous faces who are, the heads of these large social media networks, there are also many other people who are other kinds of millionaires who are maybe involved with a very specific implementation of technology, like a software engineer that had a big hand in designing Uber, or maybe the person who launched Grubhub or Twitch, things like that. There's all sorts of tech millionaires in addition to these massive billionaires here in the United States. And a lot of this is central to California, but again, just because of mass migration, the second that people, got wind of the opportunity to live elsewhere, a lot of people did. So you can find people all over the United States who are involved with this Silicon Valley tech boom that we're currently experiencing in society. Now, when we talk about the kind of woman who would be most attractive to these types, the intellectual is going to do especially well with the tech millionaire because her sharp reasoning and her array of knowledge is going to really keep him intellectually stimulated, right? So, a lot of these very smart men, they're not just about appearances, believe it or not. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but a lot of these people are very intelligent and they like to be intellectually stimulated. So if you actually look at Jeff Bezos's first wife, she was an intellectual. She was a whip smart, technically accomplished woman. Same with Mark Zuckerberg's current wife, Priscilla Chan. She, if anything, was much more intelligent than Mark Zuckerberg himself. She was somebody who was valedictorian of her class in high school, went to Harvard, then went on to get her degree in medicine, right? So she's a practicing medical doctor, if I'm correct in those details. She's a very intelligent and sharp woman. And this type of man really likes women like that, especially women who are accomplished in their own rights and who have a pedigree of accomplishments under them, because they like to be intellectually stimulated, not just visually stimulated. And your pedigree of accomplishments also make sure that he feels safe with you. He feels like you're not just looking for him because he has money. You can, at the end of the day, provide for yourself. You are capable of providing whatever lifestyle you want for yourself. He is just a complement to that. And for this type of very accomplished professional, that is very attractive. Another type of woman that these types will do, who will do very well with the Silicon Valley type, is the girl next door. The girl next door is something that is all American in its conception. The idea itself is very Americana. She is the girl who is sort of foisted forward in our culture as the epitome of what is desirable, right? From television to media, think like American Pie, anything like that. It is this girl who is just, next door. She's relatable. She's dogs and coffee. She is the girl that people in our culture are taught to desire. And she really represents psychologically all the girls that rejected this guy in high school when he was the nerd, right? So now that he's an adult, now that he has all of this money, a lot of times he'll go for this girl who's the girl next door type as sort of kind of like a revenge thing. This idea that he can finally have this thing that was denied to him for so long. So there's a lot of appeal in being the girl next door type for this, although you might want to be a little bit more suspicious about his intentions and just investigate those up front. But that sort of idea of effortless, easy beauty, it's really going to complement him in terms of his psychological desires, and it's also really going to match his low maintenance lifestyle. Next up, we have the .com era e-commerce businessman. Now, to be very clear, just because a lot of these people are on the internet, I am not trying to cast aspersions or say that somebody is using another person for money or anything like that. No drama, no negative intentions here. Everybody, at the end of the day, love is such a huge thing, and it's all about reciprocal value. It's about being somebody who is compelling and who presents a desirable offer to another person, and that being felt in mutual regard. So that's what I want to say there. In regards to the topic at hand, though, don't we all love to shop online? I know I certainly do. And every time you shop with an e-commerce business, there is usually an e-commerce businessman on the other side of that, making a profit. And a lot of these men are very present on the internet. They are e-commerce giants, people who may own coaching businesses coming out of, being very successful in e-commerce. And what they tend to have in common is that they know that they have what it takes to make money. They have the confidence, right? They have that confidence factor that's not so common in other men, because they understand that they are entirely self-made in many cases, that they know that they can create wealth in their lives. They're very secure in that idea, and therefore they tend to really want to spend that money and show that money. So that is the number one trait that really sets apart like the e-commerce businessman type from other types of men. And that's very important for you to understand. Anytime you're looking for these types as well, you know where to go. Business conferences, Tony Robbins events, any kind of thing that is just a pull for these types of people, you know, it's going to be a place where you can go, you can meet people, you can make connections, and that can be anywhere you want to travel. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, what type of woman will be the most effective with these types? Well, first of all, we have the seductive type, who is going to be very popular with men who feel that they are at the top of their game, that they are killing it at whatever they do. They are successful and they have an idea of success, right? A seductive woman is almost like driving a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. She is the exotic car. She is the woman that you want on your arm to show everyone else how successful you are. And when this gorgeous, seductive woman, a woman who really puts effort into her appearance and is very much like that sex on legs type, that kind of woman on a man's arm really shows other people what his money can do. And him knowing that he's the one who you're choosing out of all of these men, because the thing about the seductive type is that she's going to get hit on all the time. She is going to constantly have men coming to her, trying to get her attention, trying to convince her that they are going to be better than the man that she's currently with. This kind of man has the confidence factor where he knows that despite all of these other men coming after her, that she is going to choose him and what he can do for her every single time. And that is a very specific type of confidence that really creates a lot of appeal for them with this type of woman. Another type that really works very well for them, though, is the cute and perky type. Now, this is the girl who, is also very popular, maybe with the ones who maybe don't have like that confidence level per se, but are more so those who have just kind of stumbled upon success in their life. So they might, be people who have really had to fight hard for their success, and therefore they don't have like that sort of confidence around it. They might have a little bit of insecurity, if we want to call it that. And they might also be like a little skeptical and distrustful of others. They may be very concerned about the idea of feeling used for money or things like that. And therefore they want somebody who's going to be very much that traditional woman, the kind of woman who does not come off as materialistic or, sort of dictatorial or anything like that. The cute and perky woman has this bright, positive, and uplifting attitude. And she also really trusts a man's masculine leadership. She doesn't attempt to micromanage him or tell him what he should be doing in his business, right? She just trusts him. She encourages him. She tells him that everything is going to be all right. And she's kind of like the cheerleader. She is the cute, perky hostess whenever he has a get together. He is the person who brings energy, positivity, and upbeatness into his life. So the cute and perky type is also going to be very popular with the e-commerce businessman. Now, the third category that I wanted to really just touch on briefly is the traditional businessman. Now, this is sort of my everything else bucket. So anybody who owns a business in the United States that is not one of the aforementioned types, or maybe is just so large in scale that it kind of has become a household name, right? So people who own like brands like Amazon, or people who work in real estate, or maybe people who, I don't know, like the CEO of Target, for instance. These are all people that I would classify very roughly as traditional businessmen. And these types of people, again, are all over the United States. They tend to live places for other reasons than just the presence of a business, just because a lot of times they have chains or franchises or a very national presence, maybe international, you never know. So this is just another type of businessman to think about. This is going to be where a lot of the more broad appeal comes in. These are very eclectic people with very like dynamic and individual personalities. It's kind of hard to capture, but I just wanted to put this out there as, there is that everything else bin. There are more people than I had time in this video to mention, and there's all types of possibilities out there for you if you just go looking for them. Next up, we have local and national politicians. Now, I know that this might be a little bit of a sore spot. I understand that everybody has opinions on this topic. Please, maybe save them for another occasion. This is just about where opportunities lie for women who are looking to get into hypergamous relationships with affluent masculine providers. It's not about anything beyond that. Now, when it comes to politicians, these tend to be people who are very close to the inner working of society, and they are also people who are very invested in having an image of themselves that is appropriate and very palatable for the broad public. So they're very invested in getting into and staying in a committed relationship, and that creates a great opportunity for you, especially because once people are sort of elected, especially in the United States, which is a democracy, they tend to have an incumbent advantage, which gives them a very long term and stable form of income that they have to provide for themselves. And in either political party, there are often career tracks after being political commentators, working for lobbyist organizations or for news networks or anything that they want to do on the other side of their career in politics that really is going to be very well paid in the long term. Now, this is just again to show that this is an opportunity for you. You can choose whichever side of the aisle that you would like to be on, and that is that for that. Now, as far as the type that's really going to do well with this is again the intellectual. Your pedigreed background and excellent communication skills are really going to help you with the way that you come across to the broader public, right? Because when you are dating a politician, it's not just about the way that you may come across personally to him, it's about the image that you have, it's about the image that you portray to other people as well. That's going to be part of the calculus that goes into forming a relationship with you and attaching his image to your image. So if you are a little bit of an intellectual and you have this squeaky clean past with a moral compass that has never strayed from north, right, which really helps you be very easy to trust by other people, right? If you have that going on for yourself, this is going to be a very good opportunity for you in particular. Now, the final guy might come as a bit of a surprise here. It's going to be celebrities and influencers. I know. Influencers, who do they think they are? Well, unfortunately, in today's society, influencers are kind of the future. We are, I guess, like the future of marketing in many ways, from micro influencers to huge influencers with millions of followers. This is where society is gravitating to in many ways. And as well, traditional celebrities, these are also going to be people who, because they just command such a high volume in terms of attention and eyeballs, they have a lot of access to money making opportunities that involve things like advertising and entertainment and all things of that arena. So these are great opportunities for you as well, because a lot of these people, especially influencers, are quite accessible nowadays. People tend to be very invested in going out and networking and meeting other people, and often you have a very easy time knowing when like a celebrity or an influencer is single. That is yet another leg up, and you have a very easy time sort of meeting other people who know other people, because everybody likes to name drop, especially in LA, Hollywood, that entire arena. So I would say that more so than the other professions, this is going to be one that is a little bit more location centric. If you do have the funds to maybe invest in maybe a few months living in Los Angeles, particularly a good area of Los Angeles like Beverly Hills or West Hollywood or something like that, or if you're able to live in New York City, where also a lot of media is done, a lot of more traditional media, films, TV shows, news networks tend to be run out of New York City. And if you have the funds to maybe spend a few months in Manhattan, just networking, meeting people, expanding your horizons, and making connections, I think you really will be quite surprised like who you're able to meet just being a very put together and leveled up woman. Now, what type of woman would be the best for this type of guy? Well, the exotic type is a favorite of celebrities and creatives because she relates to seeing the world from a different perspective. Because she looks so different from other people, from her fashion to maybe her ethnic background, her features, she's just really different. She's an unusual beauty. She's not something that you see every day. And that exotic style, her exotic flair, her unusual beauty, and it's usually reflected in this sort of unconventional way of thinking that she has as a whole. And that really makes her very captivating to creatives who are always looking for that different perspective, for that other, for that way to stand out from the crowd. So if you're more so the exotic type, I would definitely consider this as an opportunity to get into or look into for yourself, because your unusual beauty, your unusual look is going to make it really easy for you to stand out from the crowd and be noticed by so many different people. And you would be surprised who is receptive to something that is a little different or just a little off the beaten path. Now, ladies, that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it and that you have not taken any offense to anything that has been said here. I am not intending that in any way, shape, or form from the content included in this video. Now, if you're interested in anything else in the topic of femininity, hypergamy, and leveling up in all areas of your life as a feminine woman, then check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you like it. I'll be back with another one soon.